Okay, hi out there. I'm Amy DiGi from the Art Students League, and today we'll be doing a high school lesson. And we're just waiting for followers, people tuning in. So I have a human story, a human artist story about myself before we start. So it was years ago, and I first started taking another connection to the Art Students League. That has nothing to do with the lesson, just me showing up as a student. I took my first plein air painting class. Plein air painting means that you're outside, you're not in a studio, and you have a paint box, and this is my paint box right here, right? So you show up with this box, and I signed up for Joseph Peller's class, and Kristen Zimmerman and Diane Waller were the monitors at the time. And I must have looked like a grand fiasco coming because you meet on location, and I showed up to my plein air class with my paint box in a suitcase. I didn't know how to carry it because I didn't know how to open it. So before YouTube was YouTube, there must have been instructions, but I was younger, and who needed instructions, right? So I show up, and I look like I just arrived in New York City from some beautiful destination with my suitcase, a big suitcase. And inside I had tucked my plein air box, and I had my brushes inside and some of my paint. And I show up to class, and I get it out of my suitcase, and I still couldn't open it. I couldn't figure out how to open this thing, which is a little tricky because the legs come out kind of this way, then they extend a little further. So as you can, then it goes back in. But as you can understand, being younger and my first outdoor painting class, and I swear the night before, it was my first night before school. I had all my stuff packed, my clothes, and I must have tried to open this box for about an hour, and I couldn't figure it out, and then I just called it quits. So thank you probably to Diane and Kristen, because I'm sure one of them was sent over to help me open my paint box. So that was my human artist moment, and let me see how many viewers and if we can start. Oh, wow, our attendance is phenomenal. We have 52 viewers already. That's fabulous. Okay, so, and away we go. What we need for today is basically the same stuff that we've been using. I think if I bring this a little, I taped it to the wall. Oh, sorry. All right, for now, I think if I bring it closer, is it in there? Can you see it? Okay, so I think you can see it better closer, yeah? So the supplies are going to be paper, which I called it Xerox paper, which apparently nobody on the planet calls it Xerox paper anymore. It's print. My 13-year-old probably doesn't know what that is, my stepson. It's just regular white printing paper that you put in a home printer. Just white paper, a pencil, an eraser, a light source. Light source, it's raining a lot today in New York, so we had to set up these artificial lighting, tape, and a ruler wooden spoon. Even I myself, I don't have a ruler, so I have some wooden spoons. And we're going to look at contour drawing again, but on a more kind of sophisticated level for a high school student. Thank you, Chris. This is dropping stuff. And then we're going to make a quick grayscale, and we're going to look at chiaroscuro drawing. So that's our game plan. Go team, go. Okay, so our blind contour. The blind contour drawing, let me bring up my trusty plant. My toddler and I, and I'm sure many other people during our indoor time, we have planted a million seeds, starting probably before COVID started, and we've continued for the duration. So this is a dahlia, and I thought it would be nice to kind of draw the leaves and the space. So a blind contour drawing. So today's lesson, we're going to kind of go from loosey-goosey down to a little tighter kind of drawing. I have artist friends who draw very, very tight, and they're very, very much into details. And then I have other friends who kind of are so far abstract, and I think I kind of float in between the two as an artist. So all of these lessons they should help you kind of think a little bit outside the box, and so you'll learn how to see drawing differently. That kind of saying, you painted yourself into a corner. It's sort of a tool in a toolbox that when you're drawing or when you're working on art and you get so frustrated with it that you want to throw it against the wall, please don't. Please don't rip it up. Just give yourself a minute, take a break, and come back to it, but try something different. Because if the way you're drawing, sometimes Mary Beth McKenzie, I studied with her as well, and you know, a lot of times if you're doing a portrait, people think it's the nose when it's really the ears. You know, that what you think is wrong with your work is not really wrong with your work. It's another area. So maybe this will kind of help tune into and hone in on making that drawing a piece that you like better. Not that it's a better drawing or a worse drawing, but how you feel towards the drawing. That's the most part that I'm focused on, how you feel towards it. Because if you get frustrated, especially, you know, high school, once you start getting older, high school and, you know, college and adults, if you feel like you want to throw something across the room, then you're less likely to return to that art, to that drawing, to that painting, to whatever it is. So you want to persevere, and you want to find a way to get the persistence to keep you intrigued and to keep you curious. So let's have some fun. Why not? This is my lovely roll of wrapping paper that I never thought that I would use so much for teaching. So you could use wrapping paper, you can, anything, any kind of paper that you have around, and you're going to put a hole in it. And this kind of gets tricky for a lot of people. And it's like, I know you're smarter than a sixth grader, but sometimes this is hard to figure out. So basically, you put a hole in a paper, and you're going to put your writing tool through the paper. And we say blind. Do you need the paper? No, you don't need the paper. But if you don't use the paper, you have to be a really, really honest artist. Because your first tendency when you're making a drawing is to turn around and look at it. The idea behind a blind contour drawing is that you are not looking at your drawing. Your eyes are solely focused on what you are drawing. A helpful hint is if you don't lift up your writing tool, pencil, marker, whatever you have today, if you don't lift that up, then you kind of could retrace your steps if you have to go back to it. You can do this of a portrait. I could do one of my stepson. I could do one of these leaves. You can do it still life, flowers, anything. But the idea is, if you don't trust yourself, which I don't trust myself, if you don't trust yourself, then have another piece of paper. And once the writing tool goes through the paper, you just stick your hand underneath the paper. I have so many people kind of trying to draw with their hand above, and they're like, I don't get it. It's not working. And sometimes when you're in the moment, you got your art brain working, and your art brain is not logical sometimes. It just goes to this wonderful place, and you're not on the planet. So normally I would draw flat. But because this is a demonstration and I want you kind of to see what I'm doing, maybe you can't because the paper will be in the way. I'm going to, you can peek in the beginning to find a kind of start. And now I'm going to start with the leaf. And you kind of Watch out for whatever you're drawing on top of, your table, your wall, whatever it is, because sometimes you have a tendency to go off of the paper. And I mean, that's okay as long as it's not permanent marker or that you're going to get in trouble for something, you know. For the love of art, do not get in trouble, please. Oh, my pen came through. All right, I'll fix it. Okay. So I'm not looking at my drawing. I swear, I was very honest. I only looked at the top of the paper. I didn't look at my drawing. All right, I think I'm done. Okay, so there's my drawing, a blind contour drawing. And again, that was with my dominant hand. So now we're going to try and make one with my non-dominant hand. The tape is used to tape your paper onto whatever surface you're working on, but don't be like me. Use some extra tape. If you only tape the top part, then the paper still moves. It's not rocket science, but I swear, once you start making art, your brain just doesn't function like it's normal. Okay, so now we're securely taped. I'm going to put my writing tool. Now, you can see if this is flat, you don't have to hold up your, your piece of paper. But for demonstration purposes, so I'm going to swap, well, let me just bring this over here. Okay, so here's my blind on this side. And I'm just going to go quick because I'm hoping you get the idea. All right, here we go. Starting on my leaves. This is just a real quick one. But I'm not looking at the drawing at all. You got to kind of trust yourself, your intuition. And just sort of throw caution to the wind and say, all right, however it looks is how it's going to look. And if you start drawing people in your family, oh my goodness, they start becoming hysterical, these drawings. They're really funny, so don't get any hurt feelings over it. All right, that's my left hand, really quick. Like my instinct right now is I so want to do a drawing, a quick drawing of my stepson because he's sitting right there. So I would just do, this is just super fast and not looking. And this is not on my schedule of things to do, but he's right there, so I might as well. An eyeball, and I'm gonna go to his eyebrow. He thinks it's funny, I think it's funny. His mouth, please don't move your mouth, and draw in your mouth, and draw in your ear. These were hysterical. I teach the 8 to 12-year-old kids in the summertime, and for our end of the year party, we kind of did this exercise, and the parents actually had to draw. So this is not just for all of you out, the high school students. This is for parents, caregivers, siblings, whoever you have around. Please, come on, you can't make this stuff up. Like, it's just a lot of fun, and it kind of loosens you up, but it also is starting to train your eye to have better communication with your hand, because sometimes when you're drawing or you're painting, things get lost in translation. I drew for many, many years, and then I switched to painting, and I was good at drawing, and I was really bad at painting. And what happened was, I could get my hand to work for drawing, but when I switched over to paint, things got so lost in translation that it would break me. I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to go back. But you find a way to keep going back, and then things eventually get better. So there you go. Draw everybody in your house and have them draw you. And then, if nobody wants to sit, you always got trusty little plants or whatever you have around your house. Food, anything. Your toothbrush, a cup, a scissors, whatever you have. Okay, so that's the first. Now, extended contour. So, okay, I'll leave you here. So this is the extended contour. Rudy has a link to the Royal Opera House, and it sometimes when you're drawing, particularly if you start drawing like this, you start drawing and you're so close, you're hunched over your drawing, and you're you cannot see the trees while you're in the forest. So when you put an extension on, that's why paintbrushes have longer handles, so you can paint further away. This distance is much different than this distance is much different than. So I don't have a ruler. Anything works. I have this kind of wooden spatula. You get your drawing tool. You're going to stick it on one side and just tape it. So you kind of are losing a little bit of your control, which if you kind of just go for the ride and enjoy the moment, then you can get lost in the experience instead of, please leave your judgy self home. I tell the kids that all the time. Don't sit there and say if it's good or it's bad. You know what? Did you learn something? If you learned something, did you have a little fun? My husband's father always says, did you have fun? It's always about having fun. Did you have fun? Okay, then that's all that matters. So have some fun. I need paper. Oh, again, please tape all of the sides of the paper. Now, this is one way. Here, I'm very close. This is an extension. This is best because you're further away. If you watch that video of the Royal Ballet, while they're doing the scenery, and you lose control here, but you have some space. So they are doing the scenery to get some space from it because they are working so large. But it's a tool, this kind of getting distance from your work, this tool of being able to see differently. Oh, well, let's just go off the page, why not? It's not the wall, it's just foam core. But I'm trying to work smaller just for everybody at home. And you do kind of lose control, and these are excellent for portraits too. So you could see I went off the page here and there, but that's sort of, it's working for me. All right, another one is you're gonna do your opposite hand. So we're at the extended contour drawing. And I believe, not only for the Royal Opera House, but I believe there's a picture of Matisse drawing. He was sick, and there's a picture of him drawing in bed with this huge long stick that he's drawing kind of on the ceiling or part of the wall. So opposite hand, non-dominant hand, same kind of drawing. And then this is great to draw family members too, the portraits. So you can look at some of the negative space and draw the negative space. Okay, what is negative space? Negative space is something that is not a leaf right now. Oh, I could use my drawing from before. What do you know? Look at that. And the stem gets thicker down here. And this one comes further out. And I'm just kind of trying to improve the conversation that gets your hand to listen to what your brain is saying. I think that's like kind of the hardest part about making art, is that sometimes your brain in your head, you think you're so much of a better painter or so better at drawing, and then you see your drawing and it's kind of, it could be deflating, like a little letdown. But if you keep going back and you keep making more and more drawings, they do get better. Just how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. So keep practicing. Okay, so we are done with the plant. Thank you, little plant. Is there something I should read or no? I can't read anyway without my glasses. Okay. Hi out there. Oh, and can we have some likes and some hearts, please? If you're enjoying these lessons, it's helpful. Rudy explained it to me, but just, give us a little love and a little like or something. Okay. All right. A grayscale. So I remember, college, high school, making grayscales. And they had to be so meticulous, and if you're that kind of person and that works for you, by all means break out your ruler, go right ahead. I'm not that kind of person. As you can see, it takes me like 50 times to try and make a straight line. People say, well, yeah, I can't draw, I can't even make a straight line. Well, the truth is neither can I, so we're all perfectly imperfect. But your grayscale, what's the importance of a grayscale? I mean, I started making one this morning, not this one for you to see. I just had a small one and I just started. you know, going like this, darker and darker, lighter, lighter, going from light to dark. What is the importance of a grayscale? The importance can be, you want to know the limitations and the freedom of the tool that you're working with. So you're not asking it to do something that it cannot do. You sort of want to know what are its strengths, what are its weaknesses, and then once you know what this tool can do for you, then you have a better chance at manipulating it. But if you don't know what it can, like how dark is dark with a pencil, and some of you might have charcoal. I think I have some charcoal here. I mean, I have these things in my house, but if you don't have kind of charcoal or vine charcoal to do this, you can do it with a trusty old number 2 pencil. I have lots of these. I probably have more pencils in my house than I do charcoal because I'm the only artist here. So just a regular number 2 pencil works just fine. The grayscale, the purpose is how dark is dark, and here's what I'm talking about. If you have charcoal, this is charcoal dark. It kind of looks like velvet. It gets all over everything. But if you're expecting your pencil to make that charcoal dark, you're not going to get there. So have some play. It doesn't have to be a total grayscale in the box and make a lot of sense. I mean, it helps if it's like that, but if it's not, if it's a kind of in a loopy, if you're on the phone and you start scribbling with a pencil, you are learning the limitations and the freedoms of your pencil. And I got that from Susan Martin many, many years ago at Pratt Institute, and she was one of my professors, that you do need to know the limitations and freedoms of what you're working with, because if you're asking it to do something that it cannot do, then it creates frustration for you. And the idea is that you don't want to go to art for frustrations. You want to go and enjoy yourself and kind of get lost and live in that art bubble and not be on the planet. It's a great escape. It's amazing. Okay, so we have the grayscale. So basically you just go from light to dark. So this is the white of the paper. This is just a little bit of gray, and then you kind of keep going back. Like the first time I put the pencil on the dark part of the grayscale, the darkest part, I went back and I colored in a second go, and then it got really, really dark. So this is good just as a reference point. It's good for knowledge, and then so what's the purpose of having your grayscale? Why do we need to know how dark and light this goes? Because now we're going to learn about chiaroscuro. Chiaro is light, scuro is dark in Italian, and there are artists, these famous guys. I always have my supplies and then I lose them. So people say that Da Vinci, can you see that in there? People say that Da Vinci, the art historians, which I am not, they say that he's the master of the guy. He's the man who made this, invented this. And then so many artists followed after him, such as Caravaggio and Velázquez and Rubens and Rembrandt, Vermeer, Delacroix, all of these guys. And it's a very simple Google, and you're all in high school, and those of you who are watching who are not in high school, the older ones may have a little more difficulty. I have to call my stepson, my 13-year-old, to help with my technical stuff because I'm not there yet. But a simple Google search will just look this up, chiaroscuro, and the light and the dark. So Da Vinci is said to be the master, and then I have a Caravaggio. They're saying Da Vinci used it more for modeling, these art historians, not me. But the Da Vinci used it more for modeling, and Caravaggio used it more for the drama. Better? You can see both? Kind of the drama. This is very, very dramatic, where Da Vinci is kind of, it's just basically, like us. We're, Da Vinci could be like us, that we're working with our pencils. well, we'll just be like Da Vinci. And okay, so I think I just moved some things. So what I'm asking, this might take some time. So if you have a little kind of point as opposed to a broad marker point, this little point is going to take you longer to fill in an area. Round markers roll, so that just fell. So I filled in this area, not super dark because we're going to erase. I sort of wanted it kind of in the middle, like of a middle tone, right? So how am I going to do this? Well, we'll do it right here. Okay. You could fill in the whole paper if you want to be here till tomorrow, but that's up to you. I don't have the patience or the time because my toddler is going to be back in this house within 15-20 minutes. So we have a small window to color things in. So you color yours in, and now just give us a moment to kind of get the lighting. Chris, if you can pull those curtains and turn this light off, and I'll pull this curtain. So you kind of want to change the lighting in the room, and we could turn off, thank you, sorry, just bear with us, and that one. He's really earning his camera work today. He's like my gaffer. I don't even know if that's what a gaffer does, but he's doing camera work, and he's my prop master. So you want to kind of limit to have one light source, right? Which I have my trusty broomstick with my dome lighting. You can use a lamp, you could use a window. And I think to do these kind of drawings in the beginning, you can get as complicated as you want, but kind of start small and simple. I had an egg and I hard-boiled it this morning, and my son took it and ran with it, and I had to go find where this was and the sharpener already. But he's taking my stuff, and then I'm taking his, because he said, "Mom, why you got my bowl? Why give me my bowl?" I said, "Robert, I need this for a lesson." So I tried to find white objects. Okay, so I have an egg. I'll put it on a piece of paper. And it's already got charcoal on it. Maybe I'll move over here. Okay. All right. There's also, I don't know how many people have gesso laying around in their house, or white paint. In the beginning, if you wanted to just kind of paint objects that you didn't need, I think when I was in my undergrad, maybe my master's too, I think you could paint bottles, paint them white, and you can really start seeing the lights and the darks. Or you can just grab things from around the house. So here's my egg. So this is going to be my drawing here. And instead of drawing with the pencil right from the get-go, and I have two erasers. This regular, sometimes the erasers on number 2 pencils are really yucky, but this is a good one, and this just pops on and off, and I think I have to watch my time here. Okay, I want you to draw with the eraser. So you're going to find your lights, all of your lights, and you're going to kind of take out where the light is. So you're drawing with your eraser, which may be new to some people, maybe not. And this is kind of all white. The background here is all white. And then it goes like this, something like that. So this is all white, but there's a shadow. Oh, nope, I made that too close. So you could just go back. So instead of erasing, you're adding. So you kind of really have to think differently. So here is my egg. Then there's a shadow. And then all of this gets taken out. So it's really kind of flipping the way your brain normally sees stuff. And once you have this kind of figured out, oh, this has got to come down. My shadow is a little smaller. Once you have that, then you can go back to your grayscale, and the dark is dark. I have some dark over here. And you know, you could do yours more with care, but I'm kind of running out of time today. I must be really chatty. And then this is the edge of the box back here. This is the paper. I'm going around the paper. But I mean, you have more time to kind of take some more care with this. I could take this out. And this is going to come all the way under. So this is where the drawing can start to get a little tighter compared to the line contour drawing. And there's a little more shadow up there. There's a little more shadow here on the edge. And you can, like, you know, before when I erased too much, you can go back in. Okay. And then you could take more out. So basically, oh, cheap with the tape again. What is it with this girl? Come on. All right, here we go. There. And then, of course, sign it. All right, so that's my quick kind of chiaroscuro. There's all kind of, you can look at the shadows. They have different, there's a half tone, there's a deep tone, a reflected light. You can go as far into this as you want, but just to kind of in the beginning, we're so used to using this, the drawing side of whatever we're working with, that sometimes it's nice to change our thinking and draw with the eraser. I think that's about it. Is there anything left that I can see here? Oh, hi from New York. Hey, from Florida. From New Jersey. I probably have charcoal on my face. Anyway. Okay, so basically I think that's our super duper lesson today. And the Art Students League, we start teaching the children from 8 to 12. And then there are other classes for high school, junior high school, and then there are plenty of classes for adults as well. Yeah, it's a beautiful place where it definitely hooked me from the minute I walked in, and I've made lifelong friends there, and it's a place that I've never kind of severed ties with ever. I've always been involved at the league. I love the place. I love the people I met there. I have so many good friends. It's amazing. And I would just like to thank you for sharing this time with me and inviting me into your home. And I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but we are not in the Art Students League. The Art Students League is closed, like, you know, so many places. And this is my dining room. And once this is over, then I move my table and put the chairs back and get my broom, get my light source off of my broom, and I could sweep the floor again. So I think that's it. Everybody, really thank you so much for your time, and be well out there. Okay? Thank you. Bye.